Welcome to the 2020 edition, third in the annual series of our Cherry Film Festival. So this year, due to COVID-19, we opted to host majority of our festival virtually and online on www.cherryfilmfestival.com. We will, as per tradition, be showcasing some of the best local films and be talking to some of the best local talent the country has to offer. My name is Makoto Phumodi and I will be your host for the Cherry Film Festival 2020. So our Cherry Film conversation today began with a Zoom sit down between myself, Tembisa Nxumalo, and Mpumi Mlambo, who's also a presenter both on radio and television spaces. We sat down and had an open-hearted conversation about their life in the film, television, and radio spaces. Check it out.
So I was Tembisa, I'm with Mpumi Mlambo.
Hi.
Joining us today. So yeah, I mean, last year, Mpumi doesn't know that last year you were at the festival.
Oh yes, the Cherry Festival.
Yes, and unfortunately, this year due to COVID, we're gonna have to resort to Zoom. Since then, yeah. How has it been, Tembisa, since the last time Nana Kopan?
Well, we're going through a pandemic, so that kind of changed things a little bit. Things were kind of slow, so obviously then we needed to adapt to what was happening. But I think since last year, obviously then what we decided to do was just to buckle down and work. And I think the more you put in, obviously, then the more people trust you and the more that they give you. So I think all we've been really wanting to do is to just perform. That's really what any actor, any presenter, any performer really ever wants to do, is to just perform. And presenting is also a performance in a way. So so we've been working.
So speaking
adhering to the COVID, regulations.
And like I said, this festival we hosted in go Vicksburg. It's my hometown, And where's your hometown? Where you from?
Naketoko Orange Farm, go Val, so that's where I'm from. And then Kiholetse ko Tladi Hanyane ko Soweto. So but Kiholetse most of my time go Orange Farm go Val,
Okay, so Hanta gets a research when I found out that you actually broke out into the industry when you're 15 years old.
Yeah, that's accurate, yeah.
Yeah, so what was it like getting into the industry as a teenager?
At the time, because I was doing something that I really liked, I don't think I was aware that I'm a teenager. Like, I didn't think, it just felt like extramural, like when other people would be going to do sports, whatever, then I'd be going to an audition or I'd be going to shoot. So it didn't feel like it was like I was a teen. It just felt like this is what I'm supposed to do. And it's just extramural. Like, I wasn't like cognizant of my age. Age wasn't a thing. Because it's like if you're playing Bati, you're not like, I'm playing Bati because I'm playing a Bati and I'm a teen. You're just doing it because you like it and it's fun.
But what inspired the idea of you wanting to choose that specific path?
So in primary school, I had one teacher who was really, really amazing. Her name is Miss Kele at a school called Zomkizis, and she would always, it's like she saw me, she saw what I could possibly do or what I could do. She would always like put me on stage, be it as emceeing, acting, dancing. Let's also commentate on sports games in primary school. So then there was just a keen interest. Okay, so I can really do this. Like if I can do it on stage and people react and it affects people in a particular way, they laugh, they cry, whatever, then I can even do it on TV. Just it's like the difference is that there's cameras. So that's where it just came from, just being presented with the opportunity and just actually realizing that this is actually something that I really, really fuck with. Yeah.
Okay. So this question goes out to both of you ladies now. Is TV presenting an art? Because some people think everybody can present.
I'm gonna let Tembisa answer this because she's been in the game longer and she's more experienced. Yeah.
Question. I think everything is an art. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you are on TV or you an accountant or you're a lawyer or you're a mechanic or an engineer. I think whatever it is that you decided to set your eyes on, or whatever path you decided to take, has a particular art to it. So I really think everything is an art. Because there is a craft to it, and what really is a craft is being artful. The thing is with TV presenting is it is a performance, but also it's a produced performance, but also it needs to be authentic. So I think people tend to forget that when they get in front of the camera, in that they really want to emulate a lot of things that they've seen, instead of actually really digging deep and finding their art within their craft and then using that to get ahead.
And for someone who wants to get into presenting, is it crucial for them to go for training?
Of course. I think whatever it is that you decide to do, pay homage to it and get trained. Pay homage to whatever passion that you have. I mean, it's just a matter of respect.
Yeah.
If you love something, you respect it and you pay homage to it, and you take in as much knowledge as you can and as many times as you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mpumi, you've done TV and radio presenting.
Yeah.
So what's the difference for someone who doesn't know the difference between TV presenting and radio presenting?
Sure. The difference is the obvious one, the fact that on radio people can't see you. So if you fuck up, like nobody's gonna see, like people are not gonna see it. So whereas on TV, if there's like a fuck up, I need to keep calm and excuse my language, but if I'm on TV and there's something happening, like I really have to make sure that you can't see it. And that's the difficult part for me, because I've been on radio for 8 years and I'm new on TV, and just discovering the difference is like, oh my gosh. So on radio, I can mess up and you won't hear it. You won't see me. I can react to the mess up even, so you won't see it. Whereas on TV, there is a lot happening. There is a lot. And you have to take all these messages and everything that's happening that switches up. They could literally switch the show up right there and then. And you need to be there and not change your face and not change your reaction, and really listen at the same time, be present to the person that you're speaking to. So I think that would be the difference for me. But of course, there's a huge similarities with what Tembisa just touched on. You really, really have to understand that they hired you because of you. So they want to know, they want to see you come forward. Your personality has to come forward. You have to pay homage to both of the spaces. Spend time learning what the do's and spend time learning how to break the rules beautifully, even, which is the art of it. So the similarities of research, knowing what you're talking about, coming ready, understanding the objective of the show or that piece of content that you have to deliver. Those are the similarities. And of course, just being seen would be the difference for me.
Yeah, and I was watching your YouTube channel. There's an episode where you're talking about the production side of radio. Can you go into that and explain to someone who doesn't know what it means to produce content for radio?
That's actually my favorite part. So delivering content is like, it's nothing, right? Like, because it's a short time. Maybe the show is 3 hours, but putting a show together is amazing, because it's like you're how can I put it? It's like when you're putting together your.
What goes into, like, give me the steps. Like
so the first thing that I would do, it would obviously depend on the kind of show that I do, is there's a format. Maybe my show has a format, right? Certain things. Let's take, for example, a drive time show or a lunchtime show. So we definitely know that there's a bulletin that's going to come up on the show. So I'm going to look up stories on the day what's trending, what are people talking about, what's making news. I'm going to go to the newsroom and find out what are they talking about. So that's like the first thing that I would do. And then there's a sports side of it, also familiarize myself with like the stories on sports, so that I'm able to discuss that on the show, or I'm able to discuss that with the sports broadcaster, who's going to be coming in to do a bulletin, if there is a mini chit chat here and there. And if there was a big game, of course, then you want to come back and comment on that. And of course, then there would be the show features. So the show features would be, for example, some shows have things like playing the same artist like twice as nice, something like that. So then there would have been research on which artists that we're going to profile, we're going to be going through for that day, their music, the history of the songs, when they started making music. So there's intense research. So in basically whatever topics you'll be covering, and maybe there's a topic that we're going to talk about, which is like dating or sex toys or whatever, but there's just intense research. So it's like going back, reading different articles from different sites and what people are saying on the ground, and then coming together to script it and really knowing the topic and knowing the content, and then going to deliver it. So that would be it. And of course your what you call it, your sound bites. So if you've got clips that are supporting the content, then you would have had to cut those, edit those in production studio and listen back to them. Voice notes that are coming in, because now we're in the voice note era, you would have had to pre-listen to all of those and know what they're saying and know what you're going to add in the comment if that's necessary, or if that's part of the show, and also know what role your co-hosts are going to play, you know, and how you're going to support them and how they're going to support you. So we'll have a pre-meeting and sit down and today this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to execute. And yeah, this is the objective. So yeah, that would be the pre-production
side of it. Okay, Tembisa, so you've done a live show, like that music show, and you've also done Our Perfect Wedding. So can you also distinguish between a live show and a pre-recorded show? Like what's the difference?
I think then we'd have to start. I mean, there's a difference between studio and location.
Okay.
And with studio, obviously, you've got your director, you've got your technical director, you've got your producer, and you've obviously got, especially with the music show, then there's the musical director, and there's so many elements that go into it, and everything is pre-planned mostly. And with something like A Perfect Wedding, it's on location, it's reality. So we don't predict the reality, we just follow it.
Okay.
And so the one thing that I think directors then need to do when you're doing a location shoot like Our Perfect Wedding is, as you direct the reality, you direct and you produce your presenter as well, so that everything goes smoothly. So I think both are quite ridiculously tough, because you need to have your wits about you. If something happens, then you need to collect yourself, and you need to either improvise, or you need to get your technicalities within, and you need to listen as well attentively, because then presenting, especially with something like Perfect Wedding, is more about reacting than anything else. You don't really plan your performance. So yeah, I think studio, it's a bigger production, and it's like 5, 6, 8 cameras. And obviously then you follow your director, which camera you need to look at. With A Perfect Wedding, it was right in the guerrilla style. When the action happens, we run to it. And
and obviously lockdown, you know, things are hectic, COVID, a lot of artists were not booking gigs, but Mpumi, when during lockdown, how did you get that job when everybody couldn't get a job?
I was at home bored and I was just thinking, okay, so what am I gonna do? I mean, there was a bit of work on the side. Radio, I was fortunate enough to still have kept my radio show, but I obviously just wanted like another gig, because that's, being a freelancer is that life where you always want another gig. And I was watching Lockdown House Party on Channel O, and I saw that Ntando Duma was not in the show anymore. And obviously, like, I wanted to know, like, if she's not in the show, like, where is she? And also, it also felt like the show had a lot of men. I was like, Asadi guy on the show, DJs, it's men, the host is men. It's just men. Like, where's that feminine energy? So I was like, this show needs feminine energy. So that's where the interest came from. And I could see myself doing the show. Then I went to go snoop around to go find out where she's at, and she was casted for with the Fergusons to shoot the show. Yeah, the Fergusons. I just forgot the name of the show. And then I was like, okay, perfect. So that means that this show is mine now. So I have to go do the show because she's not there. So how am I going to get the show? And I was like, let me record a demo of myself, because, you know, emails don't get through to people. People are busy. Like, oh, Tembisa, I can even tell you that, like people are always busy. Like, they don't have time for you. So you really, really have to hound and get their attention. So my strategy was social media. So the show always is obviously on Fridays and Saturdays. And I was like, okay, I'll record my demo. And when the show starts, I'll post the intro link. So I recorded 2 demos, an intro link and an outro link. So the intro link was when the show was actually starting. So I opened the show online, posted the audition. And I said, guys, this is my audition. I want to be a part of the show. If you think I'm fucking dope, just retweet and tag the right people. That's all I said. I don't think I tagged Shims. And that's what I did. And then that's what happened. And they liked it. People loved it. People supported it. And that's how I got the gig.
Yeah. No, that's dope. So, Lila Babedi, your mothers, your career woman, Tembisa is married. So how do you balance everything in life? Where do you find the balance?
Oh, Tembisa, do you want to take this? You've been doing this longer than me.
Right now, Mpumi, I also want to know from you, how do you juggle motherhood and this entertainment industry? And
it's a mess, hey?
Yes, because I'm also a mom. My son is at home with my parents. So how do you do it? And
I always find this question so strange, because they never ask me that. Do you know what I mean? Because they are dads, they are husbands, and I mean, they work, but they never seem to ask them this question, because I think people know that we carry a lot on our shoulders as women.
Yes.
Even though it might be lockdown and you are, set is dark, you are at home either being a wife or being a mom. It just never happens. I mean, you're constantly tired. But I think one thing that I've learned in this industry is just the discipline of always staying ready and having a good team that surrounds you. I don't think I would know if I'm coming or going if it wasn't for my management. They tell me where I need to be from the morning, and then after that they tell me where I need to be after this, and then after that they tell me, okay, you need a self-tape for this. This is the time you need to do it. Give it to me by this time. So we have this saying, especially with me and my management team, is that everything is everything. I tell them everything, they tell me everything, so that we are on the same page, and so that my schedule is very clear to me, and I know where I need to be at what time. So you need a good management team, and you need a great support structure at home, which then means you choose the right partner.
Yeah, I agree with Tembisa with a great support structure. I don't have like a big team because my career is not at that level where like I'll have people sort of like managing my day-to-days. It's still bearable. I'm able to manage my day-to-days. But my mom is, I don't know what would be without mothers. Like, my mom is really, really my lifesaver. If they tell me at a gig that, oh, you have to stay longer and I'm unable to pick up my son, I can call my mom, like, I can't pick him up, please pick him up. Like, I can't do this, please do this for me. And she's just always there to carry me through. And of course, the father of my child is also quite present. So he's equally present. It's not a thing, I'm the mom. He's there when I can't do something. He's there to just pick up the pieces and help me. And I'm there to help him too. So it's the team is that's my team. That's my team. That team is a solid one. And also, of course, there's also days where I really feel guilty, where I haven't seen my son in a long time. There's just that guilt feeling. I'm just walking in the house, taking clothes, coming out. I love you. I'll see you. And it's like, oh my God, did I really bring this child on earth to do this to him? Like, why am I doing this?
You're tired. You're absolutely exhausted.
I know. But I hear you, ladies. Nah? So also one question that I wanted to ask you is how important is collaboration in this industry?
I mean, it's extremely important because we are an industry of ideas and creative juices. We are an industry made out of spirits. I mean, what we do is very spiritual. We're an industry made out of people. Those where the ideas come from. And if you think about it, I mean, if you go according to what you think and your ideas alone, then you won't really have much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole entire thing of opening this industry and making it bigger so that we can all collaborate and so we can all eat, so that we can all have a voice within it. Do you know what I mean? And what I find really scary is that people will always find a reason for them not to listen to you. You know, especially as women, you know, they'll always find some sort of reason. No, she's dark. No, she's fat. No, she's got scandals. No, do you know what I mean? And I think once we start thinking in a collaborative manner, then our industry will grow and more ideas will come in, and also the films that we make and the telenovelas that we bring out and the presenting shows that we have will be out of this world if we just open up these doors.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Oh, you wanted to say something, Mpumi?
No. I'm just saying, yeah, true.
Okay, so I was Tembisa. Last year you said something very profound. Well, this industry is very tough for girls. You know, do you think people are doing enough to change that narrative? Girls must sleep their way to the top. Do you think we are doing enough? Do you think we're raising enough awareness, or like, do you think?
Ooh, of course not. But you need to understand that with cultures like these, someone is benefiting from it. Someone is benefiting from the couch casting. Someone is benefiting from women not being within this industry and not having a voice. Someone somewhere is benefiting from it, which is why the culture will always carry on. And the only way to do it is to nip it at the bud, speak up. I know it's difficult, but you speak up. You know what I mean? And you nip it at the bud and you stop it as soon as you see it happening to you. Do you know what I mean? But when, especially in society, when things like these happen, especially to young girls, someone somewhere is benefiting, and someone in the ladder is benefiting, which means that they're not going to do anything about it if it benefits them.
Yeah. And it's a disgusting culture. Like, it doesn't end. All generations have been through it, and it's just like it just continues and carries through. It's like a boys' club, and which girl are we going to let in the boys' club? And if we do let the girl in the boys' club, what is she willing to do? So, but I think the beauty of this generation and the internet is that it has also sort of thrown off the power dynamics just a little, in a way that if something is dope, whether I'm female or not, people are fucking with it, and you're just bound to buy into it because it's just fucking dope. You can't resist it, you know. But of course, there's, like, without a doubt, like there are always people who are just that's the thing. It's like, you are not going to sit at this table if you're not willing to do anything for it. And it's a difficult one when Tembisa says you must speak up, because you must understand some people are literally figuratively hungry and literally hungry. So they come into this space, they don't even have a taxi fare to get back home. And if you're being hired by a guy who can see that udinga impucuko as soon as possible, like they take advantage of that, as talented as you are. And of course, if you're being offered before there is no ways you are not going to accept whatever that they're giving you, because that is an escape to poverty. You are escaping. You're willing to do absolutely anything just for you to have decent clothes, a meal every single day, and that your mom and your sister who you've left at home also have that. And when you're in the city, they also are benefiting off you being in the city. So it's a tricky situation. But what I know without a doubt, and that and that I know for sure, especially because I come from a difficult background, and I've been in situations where people wanted to gatekeep, and the only way they would give me an opportunity is because they wanted me to sleep for it. One thing I know for sure is that if you're putting in the work and you're just going by your day and doing what you're doing, someone is going to see it for what it is.
What do you say to a guy who wants to see for a job?
Pardon?
I'm saying, Mpumi, what do you say to a guy when he comes to you and say, Mpumi, in order for you to get this gig, let's go out for dinner? What's your reply to that?
Here's the interesting thing about harassment of any kind is that you never have the actual reaction that you're supposed to have. Like you don't, like you think that I'd be like, hi, nah, you literally like you're calm, but it's awkward. Because also like your turning up can be used against you as somebody who's dramatic. You've got anger. You can easily be diagnosed. And also you're literally shocked that somebody you look up to or somebody that you really admire and you looked at as someone who is going to help you get to the next level of your craft now wants to sleep with you. It's like, wow. So my reactions in those situations have never been normal. Like it's never been like, oh, how dare you? Like it was just like, oh, I'm just a bit busy today, so I'm unable to meet up. Like it wasn't the actual reaction that you're supposed to give. But time allows you to see that, you know what? This is actually what's going on. And I have to decide on whether this is the route I want to take or this is the other route I want to take. And you essentially decide. But I also think that there's another conversation that's not had, that the pressure of like just judging women for sleeping for jobs, but you don't understand the environment in which that they live in and they operate in. And men do it, but they never get judged. There are men who would date a woman because the woman will uplift them and the woman will take them to a certain point. But men are never judged for that. But women are always called names for yeah. I know. Yeah.
Tembisa, were you saying something?
Pardon?
I'm saying, were you saying something?
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I mean, women are called names for everything, literally everything. You're good,
Yeah.
you're bad.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself, you don't stand up for yourself, they'll always call you something. But I think I guess maybe because I was fortunate enough because I could go to school and I could work on my techniques and further my talent in some way. And so I had faith in it, that whatever it is that they tried, I was not willing to hear it, which I guess is why then it took me over 9 years to get into the industry after I graduated, because I really wasn't willing to go through any other door but the one that God wanted me to go into.
Crazy.
I mean, it's not easy. It really isn't easy. Because you will go from audition to audition, you'll be rejected and then get another rejection. And sometimes some people don't have that support structure at home, and you're like, what am I doing here? So it's really not easy. I mean, there is no one real answer for any of these questions. I think it's just something that, like I said, what we do is very spiritual, and it's really up to you and your God what you do, hey?
Yeah, and during that time, because we go through that time a lot as artists, that silent period where we don't get jobs and everything, like what advice would you give to someone who's currently going through that phase of going to auditions and not getting any jobs, you know, someone who's just about to lose hope?
I think spiritually, you need to stay at the altar, whatever God that you choose to pray to. You need to strengthen your core because it is tough. And there will be moments where you think, yeah, this one, yeah, I know I did it. I'm landing it. Because I mean, especially with Our Perfect Wedding, I auditioned they called me to audition the year before. And that's when Aya got it. And I was so sure, you know what I mean? If it's really something that you believe that you want, that you believe is your destiny, and that if you're sitting at an office job and you are watching the river, for example, and you see yourself there and nowhere else, then you need to plot on. You need to spiritually be strong, and you need to create nuances within your prayers as well, just to and feed yourself. You need to keep feeding yourself faith, and to keep feeding yourself hope, and you need to keep feeding yourself positivity, because you will go through the most negative notions. I mean, you use other things to try and just distract yourself. You'll try and go partying, you'll try and go drinking, you'll try and sit with your friends. I mean, you just so you can maybe tell yourself that maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be. But your heart will always go. Your heart will always go. So you need to keep feeding yourself faith and hope, and be spiritually strong, so that by the time that door opens, you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it important also to get a mentor as a presenter?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think it's important at all. I think it's important to learn the tricks of the trade, but I don't think it's important for you to get a mentor, because at the end of the day, you are building a persona and a brand within the industry, and it's very tough for you to build your own thing to stand on if you have a mentor, because that's what you're going to latch on, and that's what you're going to use as a starting point. And then now you're going to start there and say, I'm your mentor, for example. You're going to start there and then use whatever it is that I have used, and it's going to be difficult for you to move from now me to who you are as a presenter. So no, I don't think it's important for you to have a mentor, but I do think it's important for you to learn from everybody that's in the industry, to learn the tricks of the trade, to learn the different genres and what they require as a presenter, so that by the time you get your chance, whether it's reality, whether it's studio, whether it's a game show, you're ready.
Okay, Mpumi, as I'm going to say a younger presenter than I'll see. Is there something o batlang ho mmotsa yona, maybe o batlang wena ho e tseba e yena o nahanang hore wa e tseba ka ho ruta yona?
How do you make sure that you get rich from this space? Yeah, just the money side. Like, how do you make sure that you've got your business right? I think that's very important, because you're getting money. Sometimes you're getting money a lot of times. Sometimes it's quiet. So, and also, how do you, the money side, how do you secure your money? And also, how do you politely turn down offers because they're not paying you what you value yourself, like your value, like they're not paying you what you believe you deserve? How do you turn those down?
I think the difficult thing is to go from being seen as someone who's in front of the camera to the ideas guy now behind the camera. So, and that's where you need to convince them, obviously. So when you come on set, you come prepared. Your research is done. I mean, with A Perfect Wedding, we'd get a research pack of the couple, but I would go into their Facebook and I would go into Google and I'd research them more, so that by the time I get there and I do the interviews, my director doesn't have to tell me or steer me in a direction that she wants it to go. I already know. So you come with your ideas prepared, you come with your research, you speak and you say, how about we try this, how about we try that? Because already then you are teaching yourself to become a producer, to become someone who steers the show in a different way. You create the content and then they follow it. To make money, look, good management. You know, I always, you need to have really, really good management on your side, because you sit with your management and you say, okay, now this is where I want to go. And then it becomes a more professional level than you going, calling and say, listen, I've actually decided I want to go behind the scenes now. But with your management, they are your through. This is, okay, Tembisa's been in the industry for this long now, and this is what she'd like to do, what does she need to do in order to get there. Even when you're in studio, when you're working, you find someone and you shadow them. When you're not in front of the camera, you find someone behind the scenes, producer, director, and you watch them work. And that way you latch onto someone that's already there, and then you slip in like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you make money, with your ideas. No one can have your ideas, no one can execute them. That's how you make money. And how do you turn down an offer that is really not up to par? Management. So that you shouldn't be I mean, it's very difficult, obviously, to have management because people's books are full, etc. But you shouldn't have to speak for yourself or negotiate for yourself, because sometimes they do take advantage, and sometimes they do come straight to you because they know you're going to hear this offer, and then you're like, yes, I'm in, without even thinking about the consequences. So I think have someone that will negotiate for you. If you cannot have management, get yourself a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. They are really great out there, and they negotiate tooth and nail for you. Do you know what I mean? But if it's something that it doesn't resonate with you, monetary wise or spirituality wise, don't go.
Cool. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, I was Tembisa. Speaking of management, you know, a lot of people have agents, but they don't have management. Where and how do we get management?
I think I went through a couple. Do you know when you have an agent, it's not necessarily just performance agent. You know what I mean? Because I'm with ONS management, and there's different divisions at ONS. So there's performance, there's voiceovers, there's PR, you know, etc. So it's divided properly. When it comes to management, also because some of them want retainers, and guys, we can't afford that. You can't afford paying someone 8,000 a month and then something doesn't happen, especially with PR. It happens a lot, you know. I know we need it, but we simply cannot afford it. So when you sign up with an agent, obviously you go for your audition and then you sign up with them. You sit down and you say, this is where I plan to take my career. I'm going to focus on the performance side, but I'm really good with social media and branding. So I also want to focus on that, but I also want to do voiceovers as well. And then obviously then they'll give you the advice that you sign up to a voice bank if you want to do voiceovers. And then obviously the voice work comes through there. And then obviously then they tell you, in terms of your social media, this is how now you're going to carry yourself. Now, remembering that you are that brand, and these are the kind of work and kind of brands that you want to match up with. Obviously, that match up with your personality and who you are. So, I mean, it is a lot of work to juggle all of it. But the beauty of having an agent is that they really do have your best interest at heart. And whatever it is that you want to do with your career, they steer you in that direction because they really do care about your career. I mean, the more you work and you make money, the more they do. So I would suggest that if you are a performer, get a performance agent, because then they're part of the PMA and they get all the briefs. And also speak to your agent in terms of branding and voice work, you know what I mean, and you know, getting in touch with campaigns, etc. Because we are in the year 2020, things are changing. It's not just acting anymore.
Yeah. So like, is it important, because I see this with a lot of presenters, that they do radio and TV at the same time? Is it important to actually juggle both mediums at the same time, or does it kind of like conflict with each other?
I think we're very multifaceted as artists. So the one thing that I did do when I was in varsity was go into every single piece of the pie. So I was trained with theater, trained in TV, trained in writing, but also I then joined Voice of Wits at a very early in my schooling career. And we were then trained by the RBF, and then we interned at Prime Media. And so, which is why I always say, if you pay homage to it, then it won't feel like you're juggling so much. It will feel like you are right at home in doing everything at once, because it really is your passion to perform, to give yourself to the arts. And by the time you go into your grave, you tell yourself that I did everything that God intended me to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So ladies, 2020 has been rough. It's been hectic. To be honest with you, besides the gigs that I've been booking, there's nothing really that was exciting for me. So I want to just talk about the future. You know, what excites you about your future or the future?
Wow, what an interesting question. I think for me, what excites me about the future and just my future is the fact that it's all dependent on me. So nobody's going to take me where I want to go. So if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, it's because I didn't take myself. So I'm to blame. So I think, but the comfort is that it's dependent on me and God. Like everything I put in on a day-to-day, whatever decisions I make, they are going to take me to where I'm supposed to be. So that's my comfort. That's what excites me. And like with all the politics, with all the difficulties, with everything that is happening around, but there's just like knowing that I'm meant to be here and I'm supposed to be here, and God is going to continue to redirect me to where I'm supposed to be, because every space I've occupied, it wasn't a favor. It was because I had put in the work, and I got myself there. So nobody got me there except myself and God, and the people that He will direct into my life. So that is exactly what excites me about my future, and just the future is knowing that it's all on me and God and the work I put in. Yeah.
Sure. I think what excites me is that I have put in the work. I've put in the training, and I've put in the research. I have put in the blood, sweat, and the tears. And what excites me is completely the opposite, I think, from Mpumi, is that it's not in my hands anymore. I think that's what I've learned in 2020, that it's no longer in my hands, it's in God's hands.
Yeah.
And that excites me the most, because I have no idea what the future holds, but I know that
Yeah.
I know, because I have followed my heart in everything that I have done, and I've done it authentically, and I've done it with my all. So I think what excites me now is that I have no idea what the future holds, and that for me is something that I can be really proud of, because I can be such a control freak. So I want to control everything so that I know that everything is going to be okay, and that my family is going to be fine, and my marriage is going to be great, and my career is going to be wonderful. But now, when we get to 2020, then there's a pandemic, and everything keeps changing, everything keeps looping, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Yeah. I have no cooking clue what's going to happen, and that excites me.
And ladies, for every mistake, there's a lesson learned. I'm sure you ladies have made some hectic mistakes as presenters. What are some of the lessons that you've learned as a TV presenter?
The other thing is, as a presenter, when you make mistakes, it's for the whole world to see. So you always need to remember that it was your mistake and your lesson to learn, and then you move from it. Because if you allow the outside world to take over your psyche, you will crumble every single time. So I've learned that every mistake that I have made, I have peace with it, and I've learned from it, and it is mine. I don't owe anyone anything. You know what I mean? I owe you my true and raw self when I get in front of the camera. And whatever happens, happens. But whatever lessons I learned, whatever mistakes that I make, they're mine.
Yeah.
And they're mine. They're not anybody else. No one deserves them. And I think that's the beauty about what we do. We give ourselves so much that we can retain some things.
Yeah.
Because they're ours. So yeah, that's what I've learned.
And when Mpumi?
I've also learned, having been on TV for the past 3 years, is that the mistakes are actually like the dopest moments. Like, those are the moments that if you're laughing at yourself, then the person who's watching is also laughing at you. And it's just like an amazing moment. So I've learned to own the mistakes, to like, if I fumble, I fumble, like we keep it moving, and best believe that the next link or the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to kill it. Like, I'm owning the mistake, but what I'm going to do next, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to make sure that I'm at my best. And also just allowing myself to be human. I think sometimes we don't, like, we really are like, yeah, now it's time to work, step into but with presenting, it's just really allowing myself to be human. Like, if people can really experience me and can like feel me and know me, and when the show is starting and we're talking about how was your weekend, I'm like, my weekend was really boring, because it was really boring, like just allowing myself to be myself, and people knowing me, because I mean they chose me on the show because they really like fuck with me. So that's it. Like, the mistakes are meant to be there. They make you who you are. You own them. Yeah.
And you don't have to be perfect either. Acknowledge and move on.
Yeah.
The word wrong, you can say pardon me or excuse me and say the right word and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Oh, have fun.
Yeah.
say this enough. Have fun.
Yes, please. Yes, you have to have fun. You
Okay,
really
so
have to enjoy it.
this is gonna be literally my last question. So for someone who wants to get into the presenting industry or want to become a presenter, what can they expect from your experiences?
I'm not even gonna lie, girl. I don't know. Everyone's experience is very different, but obviously, just like going into any field, you expect some hardships, you expect some curveballs, you expect some lessons learned, you expect to have fun.
Yeah.
Just don't. That's why I'm saying I don't know, because if I tell you now this is what you need to expect and that's what you go in there looking for, then that's cool. I think everybody just takes their own path, and which is why I say this thing is spiritual, guys. It's so spiritual.
Please elaborate more on that, Tembisa, because a lot of people like to say acting is also spiritual, and I've been wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, what do people mean when they say acting is spiritual?
Action reaction type of thing. You don't plan how you react to someone's line. Then you are not in the moment. Your spirit takes over literally when you're performing. Your spirit takes over literally when you're conversing with someone, because you're sharing a moment. I mean, your spirits are now and your souls are together in a scene. So for that, you don't make them feel shortchanged, because you've already planned what you're going to do, what you're going to say, how you're going to walk. Do you know what I mean? It's so spiritual because you give to the moment and you give to the person that you're working with. So which is why I say that don't go in expecting anything, because then you've already planned what you're going to do, and that's not authentic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, the end of today's episode. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope but the Zoom but we tutor something so ke lebohela nako ya lona le le share knowledge ya lona and your insights, so thank you so much, ladies. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end the Zoom meeting because
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully next year we'll meet each other in Vicksburg. Definitely.
Yes.
Are you gonna
meet you?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the invite, and it's been an honor to be in Tembisa's presence as someone who's still coming up, still trying to like get this thing right. It's an affirmation for me to be sharing this space with her, and also to know that like the shoes I keep walking on, she's also walked on, being at Voice of Vids, all of these things for me. It's an affirmation to my career. So thank you so much, Tembisa. Lots and lots of love. And I look forward to seeing you do bigger and better things.
May you end with a bang, 2020, guys. There's still time.
Thank you so much. Yes, there is time.
There is actually a couple of weeks left. So thank you so much, ladies. God bless. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and for more content, visit www.cherryfilmfestival.com. Tomorrow, we unpack live in the film and television spaces with more Cherry Film conversation. See you there, and good night.